relative way for ROI and in an absolute way for RI. Then we go to part 2 to look at more examples. Yes, so that just by way of trying to explain what these the results of ROI and RI will potentially represent, let me imagine that we have a company that has been divisionalized. It has a divisionalized structure. So division A in one country, let's say, and then division B in another country, let's say. Okay, imagine that for the year under review, let's say each of the divisions has earned the same amount of profit. Okay, now a profit of $100,000 in division A and a profit of $100,000 in division B. Now, just looking at the profit figures, there is a tendency to just conclude that divisions A and B have performed equally well. That's fine, but the problem we have with that analysis is that it has been kept too simple. The truth is that so long as they have moved from the level of simple decentralization to divisionalization, where the managers have got control over assets, we are also interested in how much assets you had at your disposal that you used to make the profit of $100,000. Okay, so we are not just interested in you made a profit of $100,000, but what ROI and RI are saying is that because you are a divisionalized part of the organization, it means you have control over assets. Now, if you have control over assets, then we are interested in how well you made use of the assets. And that is the point about ROI and RI. Okay, the only difference is that the two methods use the same figures, but in different ways. So I want to imagine, for the sake of this discussion, that the net assets employed, which means that money invested in these organizations, in these divisions, I must say, my friends, is, let's imagine, $600,000 here and $1.2 million. All right. What it means is that we would potentially just say we would calculate the return on investment for each of the divisions. For division A, return on investment is going to be the profit of 100,000 divided by the net assets of 600,000 as a percentage, so multiply by 100. So that would give us 16.7%, which means that on every $100 invested in division A, that division was able to return a profit of 16.7. Okay, and remember, the bigger the better. Okay, now division B made a profit of $100,000, having used assets of $1.2 million. What it means is that division B in percentage terms has returned only $8.3 on $100 invested. Okay, now without using or applying the assets in this way, we would, like I told you one moment ago, would have concluded that the divisions have performed equally well. What these figures are telling us is that if division A has investment of $600,000, but division B has got investment of double that, and double of 600,000 is 1.2 million, we can say that if you are given double of what I have, then all things being equal, you should bring home double of what I have brought. Okay, so that is the point about return on investment. We want to compare the divisions of different sizes and come to the conclusion that yes, they are of different sizes, but they are comparable. The base, the common base for them is $100 invested. With $100 invested in division A, that division retains 16.7. With the same $100 invested in division B, that division retained only 8.3. That is approximately just half of what the division A has brought home. Okay, so the return on investment is trying to make use of the net assets employed in this manner in order to see how well or not you have done. Normally, what we will do is that in this paper, we'll be comparing the return on investment between two divisions to see which of them has performed better or the return on investment of each of the divisions compared against the cost of borrowing money. Okay, so we are business people and we need to understand and remember this fact always, that we always expect the return to be bigger than the cost. Okay, so whatever the cost of borrowing money is, we expect that each division should return something bigger than the cost of borrowing money. Okay, so that's about return on investment. For residual income, the two figures of profit and capital employed are used the same way. They are used but in different ways. So for example, division A will use a profit of $100,000 and pretend that the $600,000 invested in that division was borrowed money. Let's assume that cost of capital. Let's assume further information that cost of capital for the company, for that matter, cost of capital for each of the divisions, let's imagine is 8%. Okay, what it means is that I just find 8% of the 600,000 invested, and I explained that it means that we are pretending that all the 600,000 is borrowed money. If it's borrowed money, 8% on 8 is interest. Taken out of $100,000 will leave us with $52,000. This is the residual income of division A. Okay, when you do the same thing for division B, you had a profit of $100,000, an income of $100,000. If we assume that all of your 1.2 million was borrowed money, then 8% of $1,200,000 would be the interest you would have been paying to whoever gave you that money. Okay, when 8% of 1.2 million interest is taken out of 100,000, your profit is reduced to $4,000. So once again, division A has performed better because the profit that will be left after deducting a notional interest is $52,000, all right, from $100,000, from $100,000. Now for division B, the profit of the $100,000 that will be left after deducting a notional interest is just $4,000. So once again, division A has performed better than division B. These two examples with very simple figures, just to teach you the logic behind return on investment and residual income. In part 2, we will do more numbers on these performance metrics for divisionalized structures. I'll see you in part 2 to continue. Thank you.